An elderly man whose body was set on fire in a field on the east side.
Manuel Mendez Jr.'s hands were bound and his body wrapped in a shower curtain. News 4 San Antonio's Karina Hollingsworth spoke to the victim's brother. She joins us now with the very latest.
Mandy, Jonathan, Manuel Mendez's son says his father was a kind man of God with no enemies, and that's why he can understand who would want to hurt his 84-year-old father.
So we have a sad situation out of San Antonio, Texas. An 84-year-old man. Yes, 84-year-old man. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? 84-year-old man was found in a pretty much a yard, or I should say some shrubbery area. But wait till you find out exactly what happened to him. Stay tuned, Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases of unsolved crime, missing individuals, or situations that need a spotlight, I should say. I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for about 15 years after I committed some white-collar crime. I lived in different states, different countries, under different names while I was on the run, and I ended up turning myself in. I am now a motivational speaker. I own a few companies, and I also help assist families in locating missing individuals or people that need to be brought to justice, because I know how to find a lot of people since, hey, I was once on the run for so long. I know what they think. Well, today what we're doing is we're going to take a look at a case that needs attention, needs spotlight. It's a case out of San Antonio, Texas. Now, this case involves an 84-year-old person, okay? Like Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old woman who's taken her house. But this is an 84-year-old man. Now, I'm going to give you reasons why I think that he was taken out of his house. Now, this 84-year-old man, unfortunately, was found burned with his hands tied, okay? He was wrapped in a blanket and wrapped in a shower curtain, okay? They found him in an area that's pretty much next to, it looks like an abandoned house with another house next to it. And we're going to take a look at where they found him at too, so you guys can get a visual of this. They also said they found a tote, or maybe a couple totes next to him with additional ropes.
You knew him, you really got a good picture of who Christ was. I mean, he was just always serving his community.
Mendez's body was found early Saturday in a ditch off Rigsby Avenue on the east side. He'd been wrapped in a jacket and a shower curtain with his hands tied.
So, and everybody you ask about this person, they said he was a nice, kind guy. He actually worked for, or did ministry work in the area, in the neighborhood, okay? So, and we're going to take a look at that too. Now, what's odd about this is the living situation. I did find this odd. I don't know if this plays a role in this or what, but the living situation is odd. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a couple things. First, let me read you this article. This is from the San Antonio Express News. It says, authorities identify man found after brush fire, bound and wrapped in a jacket and shower curtain. It says, authorities have identified a man whose body was found burning in a ditch on the east side, bound and wrapped in layers of material. The Bexar County Medical Examiner identified the man as 84-year-old Manuel Gomez Mendez Jr. His case and manner of death have not been determined. Firefighters alerted police to discovery after a brush fire about 7:30 a.m. Saturday, okay? In the 1500 block of Rigsby Avenue, according to San Antonio police report. Fire crews arrived first and extinguished the flames, then discovered Mendez's body in a ditch along a greenway. So when they got there, they didn't know that they were going to find a person burning. They just got there knowing that there was a brush fire, and then they put it out, and then they found him. He was found lying on his left side and had been wrapped in what appeared to be a jacket and a shower curtain. His hands appeared to be bound, and multiple ropes and a plastic tote were found nearby. Fire personnel pronounced him dead at the scene at 7:44 a.m. according to the report. Because of condition of the body and it says indications of possible foul play. Possible foul play? People, possible foul play? The man was wrapped in a jacket and a shower curtain with his hands tied, burned. I don't think Is there a way you can even do this to yourself? Is there a way that you can bound your own hands, wrap yourself in a jacket and a shower curtain, and set yourself on fire? Possible foul play? Come on, people. Detectives were called to the scene. The report lists the case as a murder. Some people who are new to YouTube still don't know this. When you're a smaller channel like mine, we use the M word, that's why we say unaliving, unfortunately. But when we use the M word, our station and also our channel or video can get flagged and it won't get shown to the masses. So this is why you hear people say unaliving. I have to deal with this filter until I get bigger, so please like and subscribe to help me out. It says the report lists the case as a unaliving, though the medical examiner is still working to determine Mendez's cause of death. Now, that's just one, okay? We're going to get into another article as well. Let's get into another one that gives a little more information on some of the family and kind of like pretty much what happened, all right? Not what happened, but how the family found out. So this is from Fox SA. Let's see what this one says. It says the family of 84-year-old man who was found burning in a ditch last Saturday is asking for the community's help in finding who was responsible for his unaliving. And then it tells you what happened. Firefighters got there, put it out, and then realized it was him. His son, David Mendez, says his father was a kind man of God, and he has no idea who want to hurt his father. David Mendez says his brother last saw their father 2 weeks ago. David tried to call his father last Friday but couldn't reach him. So he has two sons. One son said that he saw him the last time 2 weeks ago. The other son, David Mendez, is the one that's talking to the news, to reporters, saying that the brother last saw him 2 weeks ago, and that David tried to call his father last Friday but couldn't reach him. I had actually tried to get a hold of him to see if he wanted to come with me out of town. David Mendez said, I couldn't get a hold of him. I didn't think a whole lot of it because when we get older, we forget to charge our phones. On Sunday, David received a phone call from police looking for his father. He knew something was wrong. So far, police have So far, police have not identified a suspect or shared a possible motive for the unaliving. Manuel Mendez leaves 2 sons behind and 7 grandchildren. Now, he just had his, it was a memorial visual yesterday, okay? But he was found last Saturday, a week ago. Now, what I found interesting about reading this was it said he didn't know his father was missing until the police called him looking for his father. Why were the police called looking for his father? That's the part I'm trying to understand. Why were the police called looking for his father? I wish they clarified that a little more. And not only that, he said the last time he saw him was 2 weeks, he hasn't seen. He didn't even say the last time he saw him. He said the brother saw him 2 weeks ago. David never said the last time he saw him, but David said he tried to call him and get in touch with him. So there's some very odd situations going here. Not only that, I told you about the living situation. Now he owned a home. Okay, Emmanuel, who went by Manny, owned his own home, but did not live there. He decided to live at another location. Let's check this out.
His son David says his brother last saw their father 2 weeks ago. He says he called his father last Friday, but couldn't reach him.
Well, I had actually tried to get a hold of him to see if he wanted to come with me out of town. And I couldn't get a hold of him. I didn't think a whole lot of it because, when we get older, we forget to charge our phones and stuff like that. So I went about my weekend.
On Sunday, when David received a call from police looking for his father, he says he knew something was wrong.
He didn't show up to church, and he never misses church. And so, that was obviously alarming to me. I quickly called my brother and told him, hey, Dad's missing.
So far, police have not identified a suspect or shared a possible motive.
Now, this right here is just to show you the red dot right there is where he was living at. Now remember, he wasn't living at the house he owned. Okay. And then down here is where they found him at. So they did find him about 10 minutes away from where he allegedly lived at. Okay. So remember, he wasn't living where he owned his house. What makes this weird though is where they found him at is pretty much the area of where he owned his own home. So that is the interesting part about this. Now, this is where he was living at. Okay, this is where he was living at. Now, he didn't own this house. This is just the house he was living at. This house is owned by Bridge Builders. Okay, Bridge Builders. When I looked up the property, it did show that possibly it was owned by the owner of Bridge Builders, and then after that, he was sold it to his company, Bridge Builders. Looked like, so it looked like it was owned by the actual owner of Bridge Builders, and then he sold it to the company. This date is from February 2026, so this is recent. I wonder if Manny had the garage door open, if this is, what he did. This is very interesting about this. But as you see, I looked for cameras. I don't see any cameras here. So if he did leave from this house, I don't even see a camera. I wonder whose car this is though. Whose car is this? I heard that Manny walked everywhere. He didn't drive. Now when I looked under Manny's background report, I did see two vehicles. One was a F-150, but I don't know if he was actually using them or that was old or, but they did say he walked everywhere. Now, I don't really see any cameras over here. Who's not to say there is, actually, looks like there's a camera here. So this could be a spotlight camera right up there. Yep, that's a Ring spotlight camera right there. So there was a Ring spotlight camera right here. But the problem is where he was found at, you would actually be going this way. If he left his house, or not his house, but the place he was living at. Now let's take a look at the area of the house that he actually owned. This right here is the house he actually owned. Now you really can't see much of it. A lot of shrubs. And I told you he owned the F-150. So I'm wondering if this is his truck or was his truck, because this is from a couple years ago. This image is from June 2024. But this was his house that he actually owned. So I don't know. Looks like he has some sort of structural damage. So I don't know if it was livable. I have no idea if he was able to live in his house, what was going on. But this is his actual home that he owned. And I know he owned the home because I looked it up. He does own this home. But like I said, he chose to live in the other house that was owned by, I guess, the ministry service. Now, where he was found at was literally right down the street. And I looked at all these homes. I really don't see any cameras whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying none of them have them, but I can't find no cameras. Now, we're going to take you to where he was actually found at. As you see, it's a straight shot right here. It's a 6-minute walk from his house to here where he was actually found. Now here's two homes. This home, it looks like somebody lives in it because you can see the grass is kept. Look, the grass is kept up. Look at the shrubs. They've been kept up. The home next to it though, this home looks abandoned. Now I did try and look up to see who owns this home. I did find a possible owner. If it is still that owner, he does have a couple charges, some drug charges from a long time ago, but that's about it. But besides that, this is the area where he was found at. He was found over here. Okay? Like I said, possible brush fire is right here. In this area right here, you guys. So he was found across the street from these two homes. So whoever did it, they came down the street, made a left here, and dumped him off somewhere in this area. Right back in here. I do see items and trash back here. Maybe homeless go back here. I have no idea. but I figure I'll let you guys see this. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think? My condolences go out to the family members of this man. Nobody deserves this whatsoever. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think. For one, he was found with his hands bound. 90% of the time when people are found with their hands bound, they were alive when their hands were tied up. People most of the time do not tie up a person's hands if they're already no longer with us, if they're already dead. You get your hands tied up when you're living to keep yourself from, or I should say, to secure the person, right? You secure the person. Same thing police do it, secure you. So that way you don't try and fight back or anything like that. So I'm thinking that he was already alive when they bound his hands. Now, how did he die? We don't know because the autopsy, as far as I know, has not came back yet. But I believe that he was alive when his hands were bound, meaning that was he kidnapped? Was he held hostage? All that is a possibility. Now, where did this happen at? It happened down the street from his home. So did it happen at his home? Or, the actual house that he lived in, I should say. Did it happen there? Was he allowing anybody to stay at that home while he lived at the newer home, the one that actually looked newer? Was anybody staying at the older one that he actually owned? Did he go back there to check up on them or check up on the house and somebody was in the house? He walked in at the wrong time. I don't know. We don't know. But he was found wrapped in blankets, or I should say wrapped in a jacket and then wrapped in a shower curtain. Okay. So, and then set on fire. So somebody went to the extreme to do what they did. This sounds very personal, almost. So, hatred. This is hatred right here. This is not just unalive you, leave you there and walk out. This is almost like I hate you, you shouldn't be here on earth type of situation, crime. Very sad, very sad. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. Also, comment below, okay? The state, country, city, where you're calling from, because I try and interact with everybody. It's amazing. People have been watching my channel from all over, from Australia, France, South Africa. Thank you so much for your support. You guys been helping my channel grow. I'm one of the fastest growing YouTube channels in the true crime sector, almost at 25,000 subscribers in the last 10 months, or 11 months, I should say. So let's get up to 25,000. Please like, share, subscribe to this channel. Please look out at your surroundings. Look around your surroundings, all right? Please take care of one another. This is Fugitive TV. Until next time, I'm out.